Welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of August 28th through to September 3rd. This is a super busy week. We have a super full moon. We have two planets changing signs. The energy is bananas, y'all. So we're starting off the week on Monday, August 28th. And on this day, number one, remember Mercury is now retrograde, meaning he's going slower than the Earth and things are slowing down. We are reviewing, we are reassessing, realigning, really, the rule of re's, right? We're really kind of meant to go inward and be more introspective with the way we're thinking, our beliefs and thought patterns. And Venus is still retrograde. Right. So Venus retrograde means that our values, what we love and value, our relationship to money, how we feel about self-worth, those things have all been kind of in motion since July 22nd. So we've been in the Venus retrograde now for some time. And I don't know about you, but for me, I've already been feeling it. And it was so interesting. I took this Venus retrograde energy into consideration and I started to tie up loose ends, paid off some old bills. I did some donations of things that I had sort of promised I was going to donate and kind of kept forgetting. I called back money to myself by returning things. There were some things laying about the house that I needed to get back to where they needed to go. I had an organic box that I needed to send back to organic box. They're coming to pick it up. So it was kind of interesting how I was calling back money. So something to think about for yourself during this Venus retrograde. And Venus is almost over in her retrogradation, but it's really interesting. Like I always believe in the empowered, the word I'm looking for is intelligence of the universe. Mercury retrograde is already affecting this Virgo. So just keep with me here. I got stuff to say. So this Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde is all overlapping because our values come from our beliefs, right? When we think about what we believe in and what we think is true about us, we create our values from that. And those values are created from our childhood. So we saw things around us at that time, and what you value became a belief, right? Or a belief, actually, the value came from the belief. So the value is I got to work hard. I'm a hard worker because when I work hard, then I create a need for myself. I create the love, acceptance, I belong when I'm a hard worker because I saw my parents be hard workers. So now I'm a hard worker. Well, now I can only work so hard to get so much money as an entrepreneur until I burn out. So maybe it's not being about hardworking. Maybe it's about impactful work. Working smarter, not harder. So you see how the belief has now changed that I no longer value hard work. What I value is impactful work. What I value is smart work. That's what I value instead. So the belief had to change to create the value change. Okay, so something to think about this week because it's going to come in handy. All right, so we start off this week with a second quarter phase of the moon, meaning the moon is gaining in light because we're going to have that super moon on super full moon on Wednesday. But what's happening on this day is Uranus is going retrograde as well. So this is the last planet to go retrograde this month. And we are going to end off August with 6 planets retrograde. So we look at 10 planets in the kind of regular astrology, or what I do astrologically for the forecast. 6 of the 10 planets are retrograde after the Uranus goes retrograde. This means that our focus is inward. And this is a time now where this is a great time to rework your programming so that you can get the outcomes you desire. This is a fantastic opportunity. It's not a bad thing at all. I mean, if you're wanting to go forward and not look back, this is not your time. This is not your time. But this is your time if you're like, okay, I'm ready to rework the program. I'm ready to reprogram myself so that I can get the outcomes I desire. And that's why the universe gives us these wonderful timed events, because we can use this energy to see what is really happening in the background that's creating this life. And if we want to recreate life or we want to change something in life, then we need to change something in the operating system. Makes sense? Because the operating system creates the life, right? It creates the program effects or the outcome. So let's change that. So this Uranus goes retrograde in Taurus. Now Uranus stays in a sign for about 7 years and will be here until I think about 2027. I move into Gemini. And when Uranus is in the sign, Uranus is the planet of chaos, of change, of evolution, of individuality, of kind of making things evolve to get to the next step. It rules technology. It rules things like our nervous system, electricity, the internet, right? Things that kind of move through the air in a way that we're like, well, how does it do that? It's magical, right? Uranus is considered the higher octave of Mercury, which is our mind. So it's kind of like elevated thinking. So when Uranus goes retrograde, it is now, as opposed to being sort of individual and breaking up the chaos out here, it's now about breaking up what is creating the chaos in here, because we are always a magnet, right? So Uranus retrograde in Taurus it's going to it breaks up things like the banking system, our connection again with money, and it's in Taurus. What rules Taurus? Venus. So what's retrograde? Venus. So our beliefs, our values, and then how they express out into the world. Uranus is now helping us with genius, this genius energy, to allow you to really cultivate and break up the things of the past that are holding you stuck. So where did I put my notes here? Internal revolution, electric, change making, rebellion and innovation, but from the inside out. This is helping us to rethink life, our bigger goals in life. What did we come here to build? What did we come here to create? What's your legacy? Uranus wants to help you build your legacy, but it's not going to be what everybody else is doing, right? How are you creating your legacy? What does legacy mean to you, right? And this energy is going to build over time. So it's not going to feel like, bam, something's going to happen. But what I have noticed when Uranus goes retrograde is internet goes crazy. Electrical goes nuts. We might have a solar flare at that time. We might have radio things go, kind of go crazy. Now, Uranus also rules natural disasters. Yeah, because we've been having enough of those, right? The earthquake, the earthquake, tornado, and flooding with the hurricane that hit Los Angeles. Like, thank you, right? How many more things can happen to that poor place? California is just hitting the brunt of it. My personal belief, and this is not rooted in any sort of science at all, but it's just sort of what I'm seeing happen in my intuitive sense, is that California will be reclaimed over the next 300 years to the sea, because it's just as the ice caps are melting and there's more moisture, and it's just one of those places that we just continue to see water issues. And now it's, thank gosh that it's no longer under drought conditions, but we're just noticing more and more of these disasters happening over there. And the earthquake happening there too, I think is quite interesting. It is on a fault line. So the San Andreas fault line goes through there. So it's just interesting to see. So this Uranus retrograde is laying the foundation for this week. Rethinking the limits you have placed on yourself is what I wrote here. Oh, potent, because Uranus is a planet of rebellion, of eccentricity. It wants to be free to be itself. It rules Aquarius. Excuse me. So in this Aquarius-ness, but it's not an Aquarius, it's in Taurus, it's wanting to break up the banking system, break up. Taurus is about our values, our foundations, the things that we hold long-term for value, for security, right? So it's breaking up our foundations. I mean, there's no wonder that we had COVID at that time, right? Really came to the surface, like, what brings you safety? And everyone's job, everyone's income, all was kind of thrown into the air, and we were trying to figure out what brings us safety. So this is going to build over time. It's not something that's like bam, but like I said, we might see some more national disasters at that time. It's in Taurus, which rules nature, Mother Nature, the earth, resources. We might see some really cool, groundbreaking new natural resources come out, or the way that we're using Mother Nature's resources, kind of things like that. Mining, we might sort of see better alternatives to that. I was just watching a documentary where they're harvesting old hard drives, and actually no hard drives, electrical car batteries, because the first electrical cars that came out, their batteries are going to start aging out in the next 5 years. And so instead, there's a lot of material in there from the earth. Instead of mining more, can we recycle those? And they've actually created technology to do that, which is very Aquarian, very Uranian, actually. So very cool so we might see some new technologies come to the fore as well. So as we move on, the next major aspect is this super blue moon in Pisces on Wednesday, August 30th. And this super full moon is exact at 7 degrees of Pisces in 25 minutes at 7:36 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or 9:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 6:36 Pacific Time. So this super blue moon, number one, it's called a blue moon because we have 2 full moons this month. That's very rare. So once in a blue moon, right? Doesn't happen very often. And it is also a super moon. So it is closest to the Earth at the time of this fullness. It means it's a potent moon. Okay, and not even looking at the aspects, it is a potent moon. Pisces it is the most watery sign of the zodiac. It is mutable water. Think about water that just flows wherever it wants. Water rules our emotions, intuition, our divine femininity. It's our kind of spiritual nature is water, represented by water in the zodiac. So when that water is able to flow anywhere, it has no boundaries. It picks up whatever it touches. So it picks up the emotions of others. So we're going to be highly sensitive, highly emotional, highly empathic. So boundaries are going to be really, really important this whole week. Understanding, and what boundaries means is I understand what's yours and I understand what's mine. And I make the decision to only take mine and not yours. Responsibility, emotions, holding the space for you to be who you are. I can hold space for you, but I don't have to take it in me, right? That's the difference between it being an empath, which I am. I can be with you and I can feel what's happening in your body. It's what I do with my grief counseling clients is I can feel where they're holding the energy and then I release it back to them. So I can feel what it feels like, and then I let them deal with it. I help them to move it through their body, but I can feel where it's sitting in them. But I don't take it in me. I don't hold it, and I don't become bound by it. Right? There's a difference between being an empowered empath and somebody who is ruled by their empathy. And if that's you, you're ruled by your empathy, you're feeling everybody's emotions, I encourage you to sign up for Intuition 101. Starts in October. It's a 4-week class. There's one class that goes during the day and one class that goes at night. So there's no excuse for timing. You need that class if you're having energy boundary issues. Okay. You're not here to feel everybody's stuff and hold energy for others while they go about continuing to do the things that hurt themselves. So you can just take it on. You're not a sponge. You're not here to be someone's vestibule for their emotions. Okay. I feel like somebody needed to hear that. All right, so the super full moon also has an aspect to it that's making it very potent. Well, actually, there's 2 aspects that's happening here. So this full moon the moon is sitting with Saturn. Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. Now, Saturn is about responsibility, taking ownership, mastery of self, father time. But in Pisces, it's about bringing your dreams to reality, creating structures around your dreams that is no longer just keeping an ethereal spiritual manifestation, la 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 land. We're actually bringing it into practical, grounded reality. And Saturn is sitting with the moon. So it's asking you, when Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, it's removing illusions where you keep yourself stuck because you think that the world is out to get you, because you don't think this can happen for you. Who am I to be rich? Spiritual people can't be rich, all that nonsense crap, right? And you can remember what I told you at the beginning of this video, that Mercury retrograde bringing up the beliefs and Venus retrograde bringing up the values that are creating these patterns. Now, Uranus retrograde is bringing up your unique effervescence, your unique gifts and talents. How are you calling in money, manifestations, long-term goals and aspirations in a way that feels secure and good for you, but now you're doing it through a not so secure. You're not doing things the old way. This is now a new way to do it. How can you think of how to do that in a out of the box thinking way? Okay. So rethinking limits that you've placed on yourself. Oof, that feels like that's a theme for this whole week, because this Saturn next to the moon is going to make you feel like you're not doing it. Right? Saturn next to the moon can be restrictive with our emotions. It can feel heavy. It can feel isolating. We can feel depressed with this energy. And I don't want you to feel depressed. I want you to feel that there's opportunity here. Life is showing you opportunity. I want you to see what is a possibility, because the sun is in Virgo. We need the balance. Virgo is about discernment, details, getting things accomplished, being of service, being productive. But we have to flow with our intuition. We can't be just in productivity mode. That's patriarchal. We don't want that. We need the balance of matriarchal and patriarchal, right? Doing and being. So Saturn is saying, okay, how are you being? Are you being with your true self, or are you being with some false belief, some illusion that was that you took on as your own or projected onto you, and you said, this is mine now, right? Just like the hard work example I said. Hard work is not a bad thing. And it's also a zero-sum game, right? You can work yourself so hard that as an entrepreneur, if I work harder, I make more money. That is not going to lead me anywhere, right? What about working smarter? What about scaling, economies of scale, right? Working smarter. At this time, so Neptune is Pisces ruling planet, and Neptune is opposite to Mars. This aspect was in play last week. Still in play right now because they're both just kind of playing this dance. And Mars now, remember, is in Libra, which is about balance and relationships and harmony and finding this kind of way to be with others, that we're not just imposing our will. And opposite Neptune, Neptune's in Pisces retrograde, so it's about spirituality, intuition, feeling, our connection to the divine. So we can sort of feel that sometimes that we're getting frustrated that we're not able to we're continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again. We're not able to manifest the thing. And there's a reason for that. You're continuing with the old pattern because it brings you safety. It's what you know. Changing a pattern, changing a habit is so hard for humans. So keep going at it. And what can you then pull in from your creativity, Neptune? What can we pull in here from our spirituality and our intuition, and using the law of attraction to then bring in more play and playfulness? Because what this can also mean is that we are so busy in our relationships and giving to everybody else that we're not giving anything to our own dreams. So where are you doing that for you? And so this full moon, super full moon in Pisces is going to help you experience heightened sensitivity, intuitive downloads, and a lot of emotions. As this full moon is closer to the earth, it's going to affect tides and emotions very greatly. This full moon is shining a light on where you are not in flow and not listening to your soul's calling. And where are you scared? Where is the insecurity? You might feel discouraged and frustrated because you can't see the way forward right now. And with 6 planets in retrograde, there is no way forward. There is no clear path. This is about one foot in front of the other. That's it. My agreement with spirit is you show me the step and I will take it. As scary as it is, I've said yes to things that I later went, oh, I get why I said yes to that. In the moment, I was like, I don't want to say yes to it. And I heard spirit say, you must say yes to this. Okay. Okay. And then realize afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, that's one of the best things I ever did. So taking the next right action as the step illuminates and just allowing that to be enough. You don't have to see the whole path forward. And if you need to see the whole path forward, then you have a problem with control and security. So there can also be an insecurity. I talked about that. Insecurity and feeling discouraged and frustrated about not being able to see the path clearly forward. It's about trust and taking the next right action as illuminated. You will not be able to see the whole path forward. So this is a time now to really learn how to flow with energy, with your intuition, and using creativity combined with music, healing. Those are also Piscean words to help you feel more confident and hear your intuitive self, right? Where do you feel your intuition? Like I 100% feel like intuition 101 is needed for someone listening to this. So really enjoying this full moon energy. It's not an easy one, but it is here to help us become more aware of our goals, of our intuition, our soul's path forward. Our mission in this life is encoded within our soul. So if you're not listening there, you're listening to something outside yourself and you're getting detoured off of the path. Okay. All right, and then we move into September. Can you believe it's September already? I personally love September as a Virgo. It allows us to get back into schedules, to flow back with our kind of regular routines. I love routine, and I really love the kind of kids going back to school. The most wonderful time of the year. So on the 1st of September, which is a Friday, we have Mars in conjunct to Saturn. So now I also want to caveat here in that September, going back to routines, we normally have a lot of support through the zodiac signs, like with Virgo, helping us to get organized and disciplined and back into our routines. But with 6 planets retrograde, this is still not a time where we're going to feel a whole lot of forward momentum just yet. It's going to build. We're going to feel more of that into mid-September, but the beginning of September is going to feel a little bit slow and not really like we jump back into routines. It's not going to happen like that this year. And you know how you know that too is sort of the flavor on January 1st sets the tone, and we came into January 1st with a bunch of retrogrades as well. So it's not a time now that we're going to feel like everything's moving ahead forward and yay, let's go and plan all the things and buy the school supplies and blah. It's going to be slow go. Nothing's going to move forward the way you planned. Take extra patience and really just have a backup plan or even a backup plan, because things are just not going to flow the way you think. Okay, so just being open to that, right? The planet of chaos is retrograde. Mercury is retrograde in Virgo, which is his home sign of organization. So just plan for that. Now, to add a little more to that spicy mix, on September 1st, we have Mars in conjunct to Saturn. So in conjunct is a need for adjustment between these two planets. And Mars is our vitality, our drive to move forward, but it's in Libra, which is it's our desire now is to just find peace. We just want peace. We just want balance in our life. And Saturn retrograde in Pisces is about our hopes and dreams and the illusions that we're keeping us away from making those dreams come to reality. So it's a time now for caution. You're not going to be able to move forward and pile ahead, drive ahead, nor should you be, because Venus and Mercury are retrograde. So it's not time now to be making big investments, making big money moves, making any big purchases now. Still wait. This can feel like a block in your forward momentum, and it can be very frustrating. You might also feel bogged down by your responsibilities and your obligations. And it's important to remember that you are not on your own timelines. When you feel frustrated, it's because you're wanting your timeline to move forward, but it's not doing that. And of course, that's easy enough to say when I'm not in a regular job. When you're in a regular job, you have timelines, you have deadlines, people are expecting things from you. And now is the time to employ your skills of charm and generosity. And so if you're a boss and you've got timelines that you can be a little flexible with, maybe you can extend that in flexibility, or maybe you can extend or ask for an extension, or you can complete the project in phases. Like, where are you staying stuck in your thinking? It has to be all or nothing. Where's the gray area? Where can you find balance in the gray area as opposed to all or nothing thinking? Okay? You're always being right-timed by the universe, and it's a good time now to really work with authority figures and people in senior roles and helping them, asking them to mentor you or supporting you, or asking them for what they might do in this situation, or maybe asking them to support you. And if they don't, because it adds to this frustration, at least you tried. But you can't steamroll anything forward now. It's not going to work out. And then Sunday, September 3rd, Venus goes direct. Now, on the day that Venus is stationary direct, so think of a pendulum changing, right? The pendulum is now kind of up here and it's about to come down. So it's called stationary direct or stationary retrograde if it's about to go slower than the Earth. So stationary direct means that it's amplified. It's sitting on that spot and it's even more, right? So I would say for September 3rd and 4th, or even 2nd, 3rd, 4th, it's going to be intense. Venus is going to be intense, right? And she's a morning star, so she is fiery, right? She's coming up before the sun in the sky. So she is now going to be in Leo too, right? She demands to be seen. She wants to be on stage. She wants to be acknowledged. She wants people to say thank you. And we're going to feel that in our relationship. So we're going to feel where we're not being honored, acknowledged, thanked, being seen for who we really are. We could feel very, very fiery on these days. So just be aware. And of course, that super full moon's energy is still kind of resonating through the air, right? Still there. So as Venus gains momentum, it will be putting into motion what we learned about what we love and value and why we love and value those items. So what did you learn? So this is a wonderful time to take stock of what did you learn between July 2nd, sorry, I think I said 22nd earlier, July 2nd and September 3rd. What did you learn about what you value, your self-worth, money, how you call money to yourself, the ease in which money flows into your life, the ways in which you thought money had to be in your relationship with money that you learned from your parents, right? I feel like money is a big one at this time. It was a big one for me. What did you learn during this time? Because now the universe is going to test you. How much did you learn? So I'll give you an example. If you got a bunch of money and you paid off debt, now as Venus goes direct, you'll have opportunities to buy lots of stuff, and there'll be lots of deals and all these courses and stuff. And are you going to be able to be discerning, Virgo, and not use your resources the way you used to that led you into the debt to begin with? The universe is going to give you all these enticing, juicy deals, and you've got to be sure that you're not falling into those old patterns. Okay, so here's the lesson in this. And when you come into these lessons with this awareness of the energy, I think this is the gift that astrology gives us. We can then choose differently. We can then go, oh, wait, I know what this is, and it's going to be hard as hell not to get this great deal. But in the long run, I'm going to be so happy that I'm not in debt instead. And just reminding yourself of the lesson, why you're choosing this. Repatterning is not easy. It's not easy. It requires you to keep reaffirming why you made the choice that you did, why you want to manifest this thing, and keep being the person you need to be to live this life and have these values and have these beliefs of this new future self that you are creating in this moment. So lots to think about this week. I hope I've helped you, maybe opened up your mind in some certain ways, maybe create some journal prompts for you to think deeper about. And I'm wishing you the most amazing September ahead. I'm excited. It's my birth month. I can't wait to celebrate and see what comes, from all these retrograde energies. There's nuggets of wisdom that are being excavated now, and I'm excited to see where they lead. So have a wonderful week, and thank you for being here. I appreciate you.